Good morning, aspirants. Welcome back to Daily Current Affairs Analysis by Civic Center IAS, where we shall discuss important relevant articles from the UPSC CSE Prelims perspective. Displayed are the topics which we'll be discussing today. Well, let's begin. The first article says that India's retail inflation cooled to a 5-month low of 4.3% in January from 5.22% in December 2024 and 5.1% a year ago. And the rise in food prices has decelerated for the third successive month to 6% from 8.4% in the preceding month, but the prices of edible oils and fruits flared up sharply. Now, well, in this context, let's discuss about the retail inflation. Now, what is retail inflation? See, basically, retail inflation refers to the rise in general price levels of goods and services that consumers purchase for daily use. And it is primarily measured through the Consumer Price Index, which tracks price fluctuations in a broad basket of essential commodities such as food, clothing, housing, healthcare, education, and fuel. And among the different components of CPI, core inflation plays a crucial role in economic analysis as it excludes volatile items like food and fuel, thereby providing a clear picture of underlying inflationary trends. And now, there are several key reasons why the retail inflation rises. Firstly, one of the main causes is the demand pull inflation, and this occurs when consumer demand for goods and prices outpaces the supply, thereby pushing the prices higher. Secondly, another important factor is the cost push inflation, which occurs when the production costs such as raw materials, wages, and fuel increase, forcing businesses to pass these costs on to the consumers. And in addition to these factors, supply chain disruptions further exacerbate inflation by creating shortages of essential goods, increasing transportation costs, and also imposing the import restrictions. Moreover, another significant driver of inflation is the currency depreciation. When the rupee weakens, the cost of imported commodities like the edible oils, fuel, and electronics rises, making these goods more expensive for the Indian consumers. And also, besides these, government policies also play a crucial role. For example, changes in the tax rates, subsidies, and the minimum support price can either ease or intensify the price pressures in the economy. And now, well, see, the impact of retail inflation can be both positive and negative. On the one hand, moderate inflation stimulates the economic growth by encouraging consumer spending, and as a result, businesses experience higher revenues, which can lead to job creation and increased investment. But on the other hand, however, exclusive or excessive inflation has several negative consequences. First and foremost, it reduces the purchasing power, making everyday goods more expensive for the consumers. Furthermore, it negatively affects the savings and investment as the real value of returns declines over the time. And in addition, when the inflation remains persistently high, central banks are forced to increase the interest rates, which leads to higher borrowing costs for the businesses and individuals, potentially slowing the economic growth. Now, looking specifically at India's inflation trends for the January 2025, see, the overall inflation rate dropped to 4.31%, marking its lowest level in the 5 months. With respect to food inflation, it declined to 6%, improving from 8.4% in December 2024. Despite this overall improvement, however, prices of edible oils and fruits sharply surged, reflecting the sector-specific challenges. And at the same time, when comparing the regional inflation figures, urban inflation fell to 3.87%, which is below the Reserve Bank of India's 4% target. And in contrast, rural inflation stood at 4.64%, and although this is lower than the December's 5.8%, it still remains above the median inflation target, signaling that rural consumers continue to experience greater price pressures. Now, well, moving to the next article, it says that India and France on Wednesday announced that they would continue to work closely to implement the India-Middle East-Europe Corridor project, that is, in short, the IMEC. Now, well, in this context, let's talk about India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor. Know that the IMEC is envisioned as a multimodal transportation network which aims to seamlessly connect India, the Middle East and Europe through a combination of rail, ship-to-rail networks and also the road transport routes. Further, the IMEC consists of two primary corridors, each designed to enhance connectivity across the strategic locations. Firstly, the Eastern Corridor will connect India to the Arabian Gulf, and as part of this corridor, the shipping route will originate from Mumbai and Mundra port, which is in Gujarat, leading to the UAE. Secondly, the Northern Corridor, which links the Gulf region to Europe. To achieve this, the corridor will incorporate a rail network extending from the UAE to Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Haifa, that is in Israel, which is situated on the Mediterranean Sea. And following this, goods will be transported via a sea route from Haifa to piers in Greece and then further into the Europe. Now, in addition to this transportation infrastructure, the corridor will also include an electricity cable, a hydrogen pipeline, and also a high-speed data cable. And further, it is supported by the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment, which is a US-led initiative to address the infrastructure gaps in the developing nations. Further, the key signatories here are India, US, Saudi Arabia, UAE, the European Union, Italy, France, and Germany. Now, this project comes with certain objectives. They are, one of the main objectives of this project is to establish a comprehensive transportation network across India, Middle East, and also the Europe. By doing so, it enhances the trade efficiency, reducing the cost, and also increasing the economic unity. Furthermore, the project is expected to promote employment generation and lower the greenhouse gas emissions. And ultimately, this project seeks to transform the integration between Asia, Europe, and Middle East by facilitating seamless connectivity. Now, further moving to the next article, it says that the Supreme Court on Wednesday shifted the hearing on petitions challenging the legality of a new law which gives a dominant role to the Union government in appointment of Chief Election Commissioner and also the election commissions to February 19. Now, in this context, let's see the appointment of election commissioners. Know that the appointment of election commissioners is governed by the Article 324 of the Indian Constitution, which vests the power of superintendence, direction, and also the control of elections in the Election Commission of India. And this constitutional provisions ensures that elections in India are conducted in a free, fair, and impartial manner. And according to this framework, the Chief Election Commissioner and the election commissioners are appointed by the President of India. Further, the procedure for appointing the election commissions is specifically laid down in the Chief Election Commissioners and other election commissioners Appointment, Conditions of Service and Term of Office Act 2023. Now, under this law, the President appoints the CEC and ECs based on the recommendations of a selection committee. This means that President does not make appointments unilaterally, but rather follows the recommendations of a formally constituted committee. Additionally, the selection committee consists of three key members, namely the Prime Minister, a Union Cabinet Minister, and also the leader of opposition or the leader of the largest opposition party in the Lok Sabha. By including the opposition in the committee, the selection process aims to ensure neutrality and also prevent the political bias. And before the selection committee makes its recommendations, a search committee headed by the Law Minister prepares a panel of names for the consideration. And this step is important because it ensures that only the most qualified and experienced individuals are shortlisted. Furthermore, by conducting a thorough review, the search committee enhances the credibility of the entire selection process. As a result, the appointment of election commissioners follows a structured, multi-tier process that helps maintain the integrity and independence of Election Commission of India. Now, let's move to the next article. The next article says that Mumbai has reported its first death due to the Guillain-Barré Syndrome, raising the death toll in Maharashtra to 8. Now, in this context, let's talk about the Guillain-Barré Syndrome. To begin with, Guillain-Barré Syndrome is a rare autoimmune neurological disorder in which the immune system mistakenly attacks the peripheral nerves, leading to muscle weakness and, in severe cases, the paralysis. Since this condition is relatively uncommon, its incidence is estimated at 1 to 2 cases per 1 lakh people. Now, in terms of causes, GBS, that is the Guillain-Barré Syndrome, is often triggered by the viral or bacterial infections which lead to an abnormal immune response against the nerve tissues. And among the most common risk factors, Campylobacter jejuni infection, which is responsible for gastroenteritis with symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, is frequently linked to the onset of GBS. And apart from this, other infections such as the flu, cytomegalovirus, Epstein-Barr virus, and Zika virus have also been identified as the potential triggers. And further, when it comes like how GBS affects the body, the disorder primarily targets the myelin sheath, which is the protective fatty layer around the nerve cells. And as a result, nerve signaling becomes impaired, leading to disruptions in muscle control and sensory functions. And in its early stages, GBS typically begins with the tingling and weakness in the feet and legs, which gradually spreads to the upper body, arms, and also to the face. As the condition progresses, patients experience symptoms such as pins and needles in the toes, fingers, ankles, or wrist, accompanied by the pain in the legs and also the lower back. Now, in addition to this, affected individuals may have difficulty in walking, climbing stairs, or making the facial movements, sometimes experience the double vision as well. In more severe cases, GBS can also cause paralysis in legs, arms, or face, significantly affecting the mobility and also the daily activities. Moreover, as the disease advances, it can weaken the chest muscles, leading to difficulty in breathing, and as a consequence, patients may face problems with speaking and swallowing, which can severely impact their ability to communicate and eat properly. And in extreme conditions, the disorders can lead to life-threatening complications if the autonomic nervous system, which regulates the blood pressure and heart rate, is affected. Now, in terms of treatment, there is no definitive cure for this disease. However, various medical interventions can significantly improve recovery prospects. Among the primary treatment options, plasma exchange, which is a plasmapheresis, is commonly used to remove and treat plasma, thereby eliminating harmful antibodies that attack the nerve cells. Similarly, another effective therapy is the intravenous immunoglobulin, which involves the introduction of proteins to neutralize harmful antibodies and therefore reducing the immune system attacks on the nerves. Both the treatments aim to control the immune response and facilitate the nerve regeneration. Although the prognosis varies from person to person, most patients experience a near complete recovery with appropriate treatment and rehabilitation. However, it is important to know that the recovery process can be prolonged, requiring months or even years for full restoration of muscle strength and nerve function. Despite these challenges, with early detection, proper medical care, and supportive therapies, patients can regain a significant level of normal functioning. Well, that is about the Guillain-Barré Syndrome. Now, let's move to the next article. It says that the Telangana government has declared a high alert in view of outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza or bird flu cases reported in Andhra Pradesh by setting up over 2 dozen checkposts to check vehicles transporting poultry birds into the state. Now, well, in this context, let's talk about the avian influenza. See, it is a highly contagious viral infection affecting birds, especially the wild and domestic poultry. Basically, it is a subtype of influenza A virus, which was first identified in the year 1996 as a highly pathogenic H5N1 in domestic waterfowl in the southern China. Although human infections are rare but occur occasionally, person-to-person transmission is difficult. But however, despite this, the mortality rate is approximately 60%. And when symptoms do appear, they can range from mild, such as fever, cough, and muscle aches, to severe conditions like pneumonia, difficulty in breathing, and cognitive issues, including the altered mental status and seizures. And in India, the first outbreak of avian influenza was reported in the year 2006 in Navapur, Maharashtra. Since then, annual outbreaks have been recorded, making it a recurring public health concern. And also, in November 2016, the H5N8 strain was detected, affecting wild birds across 5 states, with Kerala reporting the highest number of cases. And over time, the disease has spread across the nation, leading to culling of over 9 million birds as a contaminant measure. And further, to control the spread of virus, the government follows a detect and cull strategy under the National Action Plan for Prevention, Control and Containment of Avian Influenza. And this approach focuses on early detection, strict quarantine measures, and mass culling of infected and exposed poultry to prevent further outbreaks. Alongside these preventive actions, antivirals are used to reduce the severity and mortality of human cases, ensuring better recovery outcomes. Now, the next article is that Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, headed by the Congress leader K.C. Venugopal, at a meeting held on Wednesday, directed the government to review the existing rules that decide the toll tax on national highways. Now, in this context, let's talk about the Public Accounts Committee. See, Public Accounts Committee is one among the three financial parliamentary committees, and the other two include the Estimates Committee and also the Committee on Public Undertakings. Further, this Public Accounts Committee was introduced in the year 1921 after its first mention in the Government of India Act 1919, which is also called as Montagu-Chelmsford Reforms. Since then, it is constituted every year under the Rule 308 of Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in Lok Sabha. See, although it plays a significant role in the financial oversight, it is not an executive body. As a result, its decisions are advisory in nature rather than legally binding. But nevertheless, the committee serves as an essential tool in helping the parliament scrutinize government finances effectively. Now, regarding if we see the composition, the PAC, that is the Parliamentary Accounts Committee, consists of maximum of 22 members, and among them 15 members are elected by the Speaker of Lok Sabha, while 7 members are chosen by the Chairman of Rajya Sabha. Each of these members serves a term of only 1 year, ensuring regular rotation and fresh perspectives in the financial oversight. And now, when it comes to the appointments, the Chairman of PAC is appointed by the Speaker of Lok Sabha. And as per the convention, starting from the Public Accounts Committee of 1967 to 68, the chairperson has always been a member of main opposition party or group in the House. Additionally, a minister is not eligible to be elected as a member of the committee, ensuring its independence from the executive branch. And the PAC is entrusted with several key functions that focus on financial oversight. Firstly, it keeps a strict check on the government expenditure, particularly ensuring that funds are used effectively and as per the approved budget. Secondly, it examines the audit report of the Controller and Auditor General after it is presented in the Parliament. By doing so, the committee ensures that government departments remain accountable for their financial decisions. Further, the PAC promotes the fundamental principle that Parliament embodies the will of the people by exercising control over the executive branch. And additionally, it carefully scrutinizes how money is spent on on different services during a financial year to prevent misuse or misallocation of funds beyond the government expenditures. The PAC also examines the accounts of state corporations, trading concerns and manufacturing projects to ensure that the public funds are being utilized efficiently across different sectors. Now, moving to the next article, it says that India's industrial output growth dropped to a 4-month low of 3.2% in December, with manufacturing and mining sectors rising just 3% and 2.6% respectively, and consumer non-durables production slipping 7.6% from a year ago. Now, in this context, let's talk about the Index of Industrial Production. See, as the name suggests, the Index of Industrial Production maps the change in the volume of production in the Indian industries. More formally, it chooses a basket of industrial products ranging from the manufacturing sector to mining to energy, which creates an index by giving different weight to each sector and then tracks the production every month. Finally, the index value is compared to the value it had in the same month last year to figure out the economy's industrial health, and it is one of the prime indicators of the economic development for the measurement of trend in the behavior of the industrial production over a period of time with reference to a chosen base year. Also, it indicates the relative change of physical production in the field of industries during a specified year as compared to the previous year. Furthermore, the most important thing here is that it is computed and published by the Central Statistical Organization on a monthly basis. See, additionally, the base year is always given a value of 100. So, if the current IIP reads as 120, it means that there is 20% growth compared to the base year, and further the current base year for the IIP series in India is 2011-2012. Now, moving to the next article, it says that the Supreme Court is hearing petitions filed by Ashwin Upadhyay and others seeking a lifetime ban on convicted persons from contesting the elections. Now, well, in this context, let's talk about the lifetime ban on the convicted politicians. If we see the background, the Supreme Court is currently hearing the petitions filed by the Ashwin Upadhyay and others seeking a lifetime ban on convicted persons from contesting the elections. And this legal challenge has reignited the debate on whether convicted individuals should be permanently disqualified from the electoral politics. Given the implications for the democratic governance, the cause has drawn significant attention from the legal experts, policymakers, and civil society. So, if you look at the current legal provisions, see, the Representation of People Act 1951 lays down the rules regarding the disqualification of convicted individuals from contesting the elections. And further, under this law, Section 8 Clause 3 disqualifies individuals convicted and sentenced to imprisonment for 2 years or more. Furthermore, they remain ineligible to contest the elections for an additional 6 years after their release. And also, Section 8 Clause 1 goes a step further, stating that persons convicted under heinous crimes such as rape, offences under the Unlawful Activities Act, that is UAPA, and also the Prevention of Corruption Act are disqualified irrespective of the sentence duration and remain ineligible for 6 months. And also, Section 8 Clause 1 goes a step further, stating that persons convicted under the heinous crimes such as rape, offences under the Unlawful Activities Act, and also the Prevention of Corruption Act are disqualified irrespective of their sentence duration and remain ineligible for 6 years post the release. Furthermore, the Section 11 provides discretionary power to the Election Commission, allowing it to remove or reduce the disqualification period of a convicted person. This provision enables the Election Commission to make exceptions, but it has sparked controversy in the cases where convicted politicians have been allowed to return to the electoral politics sooner than expected. And now, if you look at the past Supreme Court decisions, over the years, the Supreme Court has played a crucial role in shaping the legal landscape regarding the disqualification of the convicted politicians. In the CEC versus Jan Chaukidar case in the year 2013, the Supreme Court held that under trial prisoners cannot contest the elections, interpreting the Section 62 Clause 5 of the RP Act, that is the Representation of Persons Act, to mean that a person in jail is not an electoral and is therefore ineligible to contest. However, to counter this ruling, Parliament later amended the law allowing the under trial prisoners to contest the elections despite being in the custody. And also, in the Lily Thomas case in the year 2013, the Supreme Court struck down Section 8 Clause 4 of the Representation of People's Act 1951, which had previously allowed sitting legislators to continue in office even after being convicted as long as they filed an appeal. Following this ruling, legislators are now disqualified immediately upon conviction irrespective of their appeal status. Now, further moving to the next article, it is that on February 13, 2015, the PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana will mark its first anniversary, celebrating a year of empowering households with affordable solar energy and accelerating India's transition to a sustainable future. Now, well, in this context, let's talk about the PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. The scheme was officially launched on February 15, 2024, with the primary objective of providing free electricity through rooftop solar panels to 1 crore households by March 2027. And to implement this ambitious project, the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy has taken charge of its execution, ensuring efficient rollout and accessibility to beneficiaries across the country. Now, well, if you look at the key features of the scheme, one of the most important aspects of the scheme is the subsidy support, which is provided based on monthly electricity consumption levels. See, for the households consuming between 0 to 150 units per month, a subsidy ranging from 30,000 to 60,000 is available for installing the solar panels with a capacity of 1 to 2 kilowatts. And for those using 150 to 300 units per month, the subsidy increases to 60,000 to 70,000 for 2 to 3 kilowatts of systems. And further, for the households consuming more than 300 units per month, a subsidy of 78,000 is provided for the solar panel installations exceeding 3 kilowatt capacity. And to further ease the adoption of solar energy, the scheme offers collateral-free loans for households installing solar panels up to 3 kilowatts capacity. And with an affordable interest rate of 7%, this financing option ensures that solar energy remains accessible to a wider population, particularly in the rural and middle income households. And in addition to savings on electricity bills, the scheme also promotes income generation by allowing households to sell the surplus solar power back to the discoms, that is the power distribution companies. For example, see, a 3 kilowatts solar system generates approximately 300 units per month, enabling house owners to offset the energy cost while creating the additional income opportunities. And as a part of its broader vision, the government has introduced the Model Solar Village initiative to promote energy self-reliance in the rural areas. And the goal is to establish at least one model solar village in each district, demonstrating the benefits of community-driven solar adoption. And for the eligibility, a revenue village must have a minimum population of 5,000 to be considered for solar infrastructure development. Now, if we talk about the significance of the scheme, see, PM Surya Muft Bijli Yojana is expected to deliver substantial economic and environmental benefits. Now, in terms of energy savings, it is projected to save government 75,000 crore annually in the electricity cost, reducing dependence on fossil fuel-based energy sources. And for the households, the scheme ensures access to free electricity, lowering overall energy expenses and promoting clean energy adoption at the grassroots level. And from a renewable energy perspective, the initiative aims to add 30 gigawatts of solar capacity in the residential sector, significantly contributing to India's ambitious solar energy targets and its commitment to the sustainable development. Now, moving ahead to the last article, it says that the European Space Agency's Euclid Space Telescope has discovered a rare ring of light known as the Einstein Ring around a galaxy near 590 million light years away from the Earth. Something interesting, right? So well, in this context, let's talk about the Einstein Ring. Know that an Einstein ring is a fascinating astronomical phenomena where light from a distant celestial object forms a perfect or near perfect ring around a massive foreground object. And this occurs due to the gravitational lensing, which is a process predicted by Einstein's general theory of relativity. And this is essentially when the light from a background galaxy passes near a massive object and the gravity of the foreground object bends and magnifies the light, creating a ring-like structure. And this effect provides a natural magnifying lens allowing the scientist to study faraway galaxies that would otherwise remain hidden. Now, if you see the recent discovery by the ESA's Euclid telescope, recently it observed an Einstein ring around the galaxy NGC 6505, and this discovery is significant because, see, NGC 6505 itself serves as a gravitational lens, bending light from a much more distant galaxy situated 4.42 billion light years away. And as a result, the distant galaxy's light appears as a nearly perfect circle around the NGC 6505, creating a spectacular Einstein ring. And this rate finding is crucial because it enhances our understanding of how gravitational lensing works. Furthermore, by studying these distortions, researchers can gain deeper insights into visible distribution of dark matter and also the overall structure of universe. Since the dark matter doesn't emit light but the influences gravity, Einstein rings serves as a unique tool for indirectly detecting its presence. Now, if we see the relevance of the Einstein rings in the scientific research, see, the discovery of these rings holds immense importance in multiple fields of astrophysics, like studying the dark matter. As since dark matter cannot be directly observed, Einstein rings help scientists map its distribution by analyzing how it bends the light from distant sources, and also observing the distant galaxies. Many distant galaxies are either too faint or too far away to be detected. So, these Einstein rings amplify their light, making them visible for the analysis. And further, by examining these Einstein rings, researchers can measure the expansion of universe and gain insights into the interactions between the foreground and background cosmic objects. Now, let's see the key astronomical concepts related to these Einstein rings. Now, to fully understand the significance of Einstein rings, it is essential to grasp the following astronomical concept. One is the gravitational lensing, which is a bending of light caused by a massive object in the foreground acting as a natural magnifying lens. And the second is the dark matter, where a mysterious form of matter that does not emit light or energy but influences the movement of galaxies due to its gravitational effects. And also the light year, which is a unit of astronomical distance representing the distance light travels in 1 year, equivalent to approximately 9.46 trillion kilometers. Well, this concludes today's current affairs analysis, and we'll be back tomorrow with another video. Thank you.